Sophie Rain's barely legal OnlyFans exposed. Sophie Rain is a top earner on OF, claiming she's made over $100 million. But it seems she's supposedly been caught in many lies, including her age and the Piper Raquel controversy. But the truth behind Sophie Rain and her OF operation is way darker than you can imagine. From marketing her virginity, getting offered millions from NBA players, and the horrifying reality of parent-managed accounts.
And this really makes you wonder, is the biggest market on OF the underage market? Now, before we get into the disturbing reality of parent-managed accounts, Piper Raquel, and the Vlad interview where a disturbing observation was made, TMZ caught up with Sophie Rain in the middle of the street to ask her who offered her $15 million for her virginity. Let's check it out.
Sophie, I wanted to ask you, I know you recently posted that someone offered you $15 million, to take your virginity.
Yes.
Am I able to ask you, who was that athlete?
I can't say.
Can't tell us anything? Can you give us a hint?
I can say that he is on a basketball team.
Basketball team? Yes. But you can't tell us what team?
No, I don't want to ruin anyone's career.
Okay. Can I ask, what was your exact response? Did you respond to it?
I just said no.
No.
I said not. Definitely not going to do that.
Did he push after that, or what did he kind of just say no?
I think I got ghosted after that.
A lot of people were, kind of putting in the responses, the little cap emoji. They were saying that you were capping.
No.
Were you capping? This 100% happened.
This 100% happened. I don't lie about anything. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I don't believe it happened, so it is kind of crazy, but it's real.
Do you get offers like this often? Was this the first time? Was it kind of shocking to you?
It's happened before.
Okay, so it wasn't shocking to you?
No, not at all.
Okay. So you said no, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I know
She never lies.
And she just says no, just like in drug education with at school, just say no, guys. This is actually such a big narrative and marketing ploy behind Sophie Rain's success. This is something that she does a lot. She kind of markets that she has never slept with anyone, that she's a virgin. And one of the reasons that this is so successful is because what does virginity represent? It represents youth, which I think is why this is such a big thing. I don't know if anyone remembers the old school movie Taken, where the girl, she was kidnapped into the sex trade, and they were going to put her on auction to sell her virginity.
Oh yeah,
this is
that's
actually
a big part of it.
Yeah, this is actually a thing that is done in sex trafficking situations where people are actually being forced to sell their virginity, unfortunately. But Sophie has made it this, I don't know, marketing kind of empowerment ploy in her business. And so this is just a really interesting dynamic where we're seeing this with traffickers and their young victims, but now it's being warped in a way where young girls are actually looking up to Sophie Rain and wanting to engage in OF in the same way.
Yeah, and we know that buyers gravitate towards this because they typically see it as less risky because there's less chance for disease and all that stuff. But there's clearly a PDF file concern coming up here in all of this as well too.
Yeah, because this is kind of the barely legal content, which is used in this kind of marketing, that term, but that's an actual trafficking term. I'd first heard that term in the context of trafficking.
Yeah, and so now before we get into the dark reality behind Sophie's barely legal look, we want to look at how Sophie first got into OF in the first place, because it sheds light on what got her rich in the first place.
Okay, so you're working this minimum wage job and you start thinking about OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Because you had friends that were doing it.
Yes.
Who were the friends?
A lot of people from high school were doing it. My sister started doing it. My cousin was doing it. So I reached out to them because my sister had moved out before then. And she introduced me to it. And ever since then, it was history.
Okay, so you signed up to Only.
That's crazy. We talk about in sex trafficking, the familial dynamic where family members will sex traffic another family member. And this isn't that's not Sophie's situation, but it shows just the influence of family and friends in these kinds of decisions. And that means that Sophie was extremely young when she made this decision. She literally was kind of definitionally barely legal when she chose to do OF. And it's interesting here because she wasn't trying to be more mature or more adult in doing it. It's not I'm going to prove that I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions by joining OF. It's no, she's actually playing into her youth to actually generate followers by marketing her virginity, by having like a younger look, all that kind of stuff is actually playing into her youth rather than trying to be more adult for adult content, which is kind of disturbing.
And yeah, this actually normalizes adult content for teenagers because teens are going to be interested in other teens. And we know one survey shows that 11% of 13 to 17-year-olds are actually on and using OnlyFans. But this actually, more than anything, normalizes sexualizing teenagers to adults. And that's where this gets dark because Sophie might not be so innocent in this. In fact, there's some crazy allegations being made against her.
This girl right here is basically just pimping out teenagers at this point. Enter Sophie Rain, who's known for doing a lot of work with the popular website OnlyFans, where she made $56 million last year alone, but now she's trying to make money by finding other girls to come in, mentor them, and take a cut of their money, basically being a pimp, and that brings us to 18-year-old Piper Raquel.
So this is Charles Perallo on TikTok, and before he says what makes Sophie's situation super creepy, we first have to understand Piper's troubled past, with many speculating that, unlike Sophie, who got into OF of her own free will, Piper was possibly groomed and exploited into it since a child.
Piper's history, she got started the old-fashioned way in Hollywood. Have a mom who wanted to be an actress and dancer herself, but couldn't actually do it, so she decides to pull her daughter out of school, move to Los Angeles, and try to make her daughter a child star when she was just 10 years old. For a little while, that was actually working really well for Piper, where she did shows like Manny and these other web series that were being produced by major networks, so it was definitely a good foot in the door as a child actress. Instead, where Piper got way bigger with social media, where she built a following that was huge on TikTok and also 12 million followers on YouTube, and she kept on growing it from there, where she had this thing called The Squad, which was basically a dance group formed around her. But the only problem was Piper's mom was definitely not a good manager, and Piper didn't seem to be the best person defending either, where the Squad members were abused physically, they were cursed out, some of them apparently had sexual abuse as well, so because of that, Piper's mom got sued for $30 million and eventually settled by paying $1.9 million to the 11 accusers.
Guys, that is crazy. So that like abuse allegations, even though like those SA allegations, that was against Piper's mom against 11 other kids.
Yikes.
This is like a mini like bop house basically that like Piper's mom had created, like the Squad, which is absolutely insane. And that's beyond disturbing. But when you take a look at the parent managed accounts for Piper when she was just 17, that's where this gets sickening, guys.
Massive YouTuber Mala, who covers trending topics and cultural conversations, reads the description for the subscription platform that Piper used as a minor with tens of thousands of subs. Let's check it out.
Actual profile picture on this page is Piper in a bikini posing sexually. And when you read the description for the $100 package, it says, "Congrats on joining Piper Platinum Plus. You will receive one free full set the first of every month, a free set of your choice to unlock on your birthday, free DMs, free access to live streams, priority customs, free behind the scenes, and biggest discount access to unlock all photos with a purple devil emoji and a monkey with its hand over its eyes." So I imagine when they're talking about sets or getting a free full set, they're talking about photos of some sort. I don't know what priority customs means. I'm gonna leave that to your imagination. And of course, the devil emoji and the little monkey with the hand over the eyes insinuates what you will be signing up for here. And why anybody would be paying $100 a month for this is beyond me.
Yeah, for teen content, because how old was she when?
Oh, this was all a minor. Like she was at least no more than 17. She was younger than 17 when she was on this platform. And this was parent managed. Like the rules of the platform say that a parent has to manage it, that it has to be explicitly said in the description.
Why else would parents have a platform where they're selling pictures of their kids? Like in what context is this?
That appropriate or not sexualized?
Or just like up to something weird?
Yes. Yeah, it's always going to be something
like,
weird.
What kind of people are going to be buying pictures of teens from parents?
It is so disturbing. And so Amala actually decides to go undercover and subscribe to this platform. And what she finds explains exactly why people are saying Piper is a victim. And it even reveals something creepy about Sophie Rain and OF itself.
I paid $5 to unlock this page. And what you get when you unlock this page is a treasure trove of sexual photos of a minor. She is filmed in bikinis. She's filmed on a bed with Playboy bunnies behind her with another girl whose age I do not know. You get access to other sets of photos that you can unlock of this girl for varying amounts of money, $250 to get a full set of 37 images of her in a Japanese style baby blue striped bikini with matching knee ties. You can also get a private TikTok available in the shop. You can pay $150 to get 34 images of her in a full set, whatever that means. And this one says, Sophie Rain made me do it. So clearly it's inspired by OnlyFans content creators who are of age, who are older than Piper, and who are already creating sexual content, even though Piper is 17 years old. And this is a parent-managed page.
Goodness gracious. That is so disgusting and disturbing. And you might be wondering, like, isn't that like CP? Like, how is that not CP or child essay material?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a difference between CP, child essay material, and child, for lack of a better word, erotica. Like, legally, there is a difference. And so if it's just erotica, it's not illegal. And from as disturbing as what Amala just described, as disturbing as that is, like, if it's true, like how she's describing it, that would be classified erotica and not CP.
Yeah, we know a friend that was a probation officer and was part of cases where people were not charged because they were viewing child erotica instead of CP. And I remember just his like such frustration with the judges in that. And
the legal
maybe
system.
we'll have him on sometime, but it's insane to me that there's a category for this and that's even a term that we have to use.
Yes, and legally that there's like a child being sexualized in any way can be legal, which is wild. But this escalates and drama explodes when Piper is then invited by Sophie to Bop House, a content house for OF creators in Florida. And what Charles points out about Sophie is what makes all of this so creepy.
When you look at her face, it really kind of looks like the face of a kid that's more met with a woman's body, and I think that's why men are subscribing in droves. Also seems like there's this culture just going on right now where people are celebrating when somebody who's popular online turns 18 and does this, like Bad Baby, where after she turned 18, she made an account, started doing hardcore content, and she made $1 million in just 12 hours. It definitely seems to be the problem with Piper Raquel, where she's going to be able to make a lot of money because she's working with Sophie Rain, because Sophie Rain has the network in place through social media, she has the producers in place, and Piper can definitely make a lot of cash. But at the end of the day, Sophie's really just making money off of her because she looks like a little kid.
And I think that, unfortunately, is the takeaway from this. Like, this is the dark reality no one wants to admit. Minors are actually being sexualized online because there is a market for it.
And this is even reinforced in Sophie Rain's recent interview with Vlad when they're outright discussing the main reason that she's successful.
And there's going to be a point where fans are going to move on. There's always going to be the new hot girl.
Right.
Right now, you're the new hot girl, but there's going to be someone that's younger than you that's going to somehow spark people's interest, and then you will be not the that's just the reality of everything.
100%.
Like, it's nothing personal towards you. This is just how life works. Everyone's hot, and then someone younger comes up and they take that throne.
This is so sad, but it's so revealing. And also awkward for him to be talking to her like that. I was like, I feel like she looks uncomfortable with this conversation. Like, I feel uncomfortable like listening to the conversation, but I think this is what the point, like, looking younger markets and it sells. Like, this is not necessarily business acumen, it's not necessarily talent, this is simply her looking barely legal and selling and marketing that. And unfortunately, there is a market for that. There's people that want that kind of content.
This is the dark side of OF. It's appealing to a market that wants content of girls who look young. This isn't new, and this stuff escalates beyond just young looking 21 and 18-year-olds. This bombshell investigation revealed the disturbing loopholes that predators are using to buy and sell children for abuse and profit.
A Reuters investigation revealed that OnlyFans has repeatedly hosted CSAM for months and years before it was ever removed. And so it says OnlyFans says it vets every user and all contents keep children off its porn-driven platform. But a Reuters investigation of U.S. police and court files found complaints that hundreds of sexually explicit videos and images of minors from toddlers to teens appeared on the website. Guys, that is so bad. And it opens with a very disturbing story. When a 16-year-old girl from Florida went missing in April 2023, her parents searched her phone, desperate for clues. What they found shocked them. For months, she sent nude nude photos and videos of herself to a man they now feared had abducted her. Some guy just flew in from New Jersey, her bewildered father told a 911 dispatcher after reporting her messages. There's some kind of sexual business and explicit photos, something bad like that. The next day, sheriff deputies found the girl partially naked in a rented house with the man, according to police records. An investigation revealed he had posted dozens of sexual videos and images of the girl on OnlyFans. And this is where there's so much like narrative around OnlyFans that it's consensual and there's not trafficking and it's like the safe way to do like sex work. And clearly there are loopholes. Clearly there's a lot of danger to young people on this platform. But it doesn't seem like OnlyFans actually wants to admit that. OnlyFans makes reassuring promises to the public. It's strictly adults only with sophisticated measures to monitor every user, vet all content, and swiftly remove and report any child SA material. We know the age and identity of everyone on our platform, said CEO Kylie Blair in a speech last year. No children allowed, nobody under 18 on the platform. But the Florida girl's case, detailed in police records, court documents, and interviews with law enforcement, undercuts OnlyFans' claims, and it's not an isolated example. Reuters documented 30 complaints in the U.S. police and court records that child SA material appeared on the site between December 2019 and June 2024. The case files examined by the news organization cited more than 200 explicit videos and images of kids. And it continues, the impact on some victims was devastating. After I found out about the video, I couldn't go outside without being scared somebody saw my face. A young man told a Massachusetts court after a film of a sexual encounter at age 15 with a volunteer football coach ended up for sale on OnlyFans. Parents expressed disbelief and outrage. There has to be accountability for these platforms. The father of a 16-year-old boy from Kansas told Reuters, the family's ordeal, he said, is a wound that will never heal. And so this report goes on 4 pages, but our friends over at Fight the New Drug gave a summary that is deeply disturbing. So Fight the New Drug says that despite platform rules and criminal laws, the report identified over 120 instances in the US and 18 in the UK where sexually explicit material was uploaded without the subject's consent. Now, I don't know if that is just children or if that is adults as well, but that is deeply disturbing. They also found a case where 2 men exchanged over 120 explicit videos and images of 13 different children, including toddlers, through messages on OnlyFans. It took the platform 7 months to notice what was going on. So these claims that this is a safe platform, that there are no kids, like I don't understand why OF is saying that like they know every single person, every single piece of content that's on there, and it's like all legit. Like I feel like it's impossible just knowing like the amount of content that is being uploaded. Like I think it's impossible to actually truly vet these things.
Yeah, well, when you just posture that you're doing something, people tend to believe it, and so that's kind of probably what's happening here. And so a psychologist also explains why OF is such a draw for young people. Let's check this out.
Yeah, Fight the New Drug says that for predators, selling explicit content involving children is easy money. For children who join OnlyFans themselves, it's about so much more. It's about clout, it's about status, it's about attention. Thinking about all the barely 18-year-olds who, the second they turn 18, start to monetize sexually explicit images and videos of themselves. Piper Raquel, Little Tay, or the countless others whose entire image is to appear young. Ellie Hansen, a clinical psychologist, spoke with Reuters and shared why teens are so eager to try the platform. OnlyFans presents itself as a platform that provides unrivaled access to influencers, celebrities, and models. This is an attractive mix to many teens who are pulled into its world of commodified sex, unprepared for what this entails. And so the reality is that there are so many predators out there that are digitally exploiting kids, and it needs to be addressed. But this fascination with sexualizing teens by both predators and teens themselves also has to be confronted. We see that this is so common with young people, where these things have been normalized to the point where like the harmful effects are not being discussed. And so at Red Light Rebellion, we love talking to students about trafficking and how to stay safe, whether it is in person or digital, like with what can happen on OnlyFans. And it's because we believe, we don't want to just like say, hey, you should do this or you shouldn't do that. It's like, no, if there is something harmful, you deserve to know about it. Like, you deserve to know about the harmful impacts of something so you can make the best decisions for yourself. And unfortunately, the narratives that Sophie Rain is putting out there, Piper Raquel is putting out there, those are the narratives that are becoming front and center to young people. And we're seeing this glamorized lifestyle and this money and this access and all of these things that doesn't happen for most people on the platform. And there's actually a lot of harm that can come from it.
Yeah, because the reality is that there are so many predators out there that are digitally exploiting kids. And so this whole conversation from all these different angles needs to be addressed. But with this fascination with sexualizing teens, both predators and teens themselves, like we've been talking about, need to be able to be confronted in these conversations in a way that actually creates change, that there's something about the way OnlyFans is doing this that a generation is interested in. And so what is it that we can do as safe adults in young people's lives to create an outlet that they're actually interested in?
And for young people, what kind of people do we want to be? Like, what are the things we want to engage in, and how do we want our lives to go, and what risks are we willing to take, and is the risks and the downside of OnlyFans worth it, especially in the long run?